Streaming live from WHITradio.org from High Tech High School in North Bergen, New Jersey. It's what? Wake Up High Tech. I'm your announcer, Crazy Carlos, and now your host, the one, the only, Sam the Man.
Good morning, I'm your host, Sam the Man, and with me today is Ratchet Richie and Muhammad the Magnet. Behind the glass, Amazing Aaron and Crazy Carlos. Today's topics: why America couldn't keep Thomas Eric Duncan alive, why ISIS is holding a U.S. Army Ranger hostage, and is all of this sustainable? We'll get to that.
Is it?
But first, Muhammad the Magnet with his story about ISIS.
Now there's a an American Ranger, obviously, he's actually Arab too, who was in Syria trying to help.
Is he from Syria?
He's Arab. I'm not sure actually. I'm pretty sure he's from somewhere in the Middle East. They didn't really specify where he was from, but there was a conflict in Syria. About 200,000 people roughly were killed. So he went there to go help out. While he was there, ISIS captured him. Before that, in June, he wrote a letter to his mother because he was obviously out stationed, so he wasn't here. So he wrote a letter to his mom, and he says, "I'm obviously pretty scared to die." This is me quoting him right now. This is actually in the letter. "I'm obviously pretty scared to die, but the hardest part is not knowing, wondering, hoping, and wondering if I should," he said wondering twice, "if I should even hope at all." So he's actually giving up at that point.
Wait, just to clarify, because I
That's
got confused for a second. He was stationed in Syria.
He was
No,
stationed?
he went back. Because I don't think we even stationed anybody in Syria. We never put boots on the
No,
ground.
so-
He was somewhere in Iraq.
Was he currently a ranger at the time when he
No,
got
he
captured?
was off duty, right?
He must have been off duty, but then he
Yeah.
went to Syria. And that's
Okay.
when he was
To
captured.
help out, not to.
So he
not
was off
'cause
duty.
Yeah.
He wasn't assigned to Syria. He
No,
went there on his
he
own.
went there on his own. Yeah.
So he was off duty, okay.
Yeah. But
It's incredible that somebody could show so much bravery and go to an area like that, than an organization like this. Just literally take the hope out of him. It just,
Yeah.
I don't even think he was. I have nothing to say about this. Like, this guy is just brave. He's only 26 years old.
Yeah.
I feel bad for his parents. His mom actually spoke about this, and this is what she had to say about it. She's like, "I'm an old woman, and Abdul Rahman, that's actually his name, but people refer to him as Peter for some reason. I guess it's like the Mo.
Yeah, I guess,
Muhammad
yeah.
thing. All right, so she's like,
What
"He's
are
my-"
they? Your cousin? Don't they have a different nickname for him?
Oh yeah, like the other Muhammad is Marv, then the other
Yeah.
one, yeah. Everyone has like a little.
So I guess it's something like that.
All right, then that's actually a good point. And so she's like, "He's my only child. My husband and I are on our own with no help from the government. We would like to talk to you. How can we reach you?" Because they're really desperate to get into
It'll be
contact with their son.
interesting to see how this continues going forward, and if this has a big enough impact to make us put boots on the ground, or even make us go further in that war.
Yeah,
Well,
I
the
really
way-
want to see how America reacts
I
to
mean,
this.
because we don't need another war right now, but definitely that's a big thing for people to rally around if something bad happens to them.
I don't know what to do, man. Like, you guys, like, knowing ISIS, they're ruthless. Like, they
Yeah.
beheaded children and they don't care. So, do you think there's a possibility that he's actually still alive at this
Yeah,
point?
I don't know. That's a great question.
So,
I mean,
I'm sorry for his parents. I really feel for them.
Yeah.
I do, but
I feel like
if he was already killed, ISIS would want to make it public.
I'm
No,
sure
I don't
they'd
know.
be.
In fact, I think the opposite. I think that he might already be killed, because if he wasn't, they would be sending videos being like, look what we
Or
have. We
torturing
have
him, yeah.
we have one of your own. We're torturing him. We're making him,
It could also go the other way, because if he was killed, they would send a video of him
I don't think they
being
would.
killed or beheaded and being like, "Ha ha, look what we
Because
did
they
to you."
saw the outrage that they did when they killed the British. That was British reporters, right?
Yeah.
That they killed and beheaded. I mean, they
Yeah.
saw the outrage that sparked in America. They probably wised up and were like,
Don't mess with the USA.
Yeah, man.
So moving on to the other scary thing in the world that is affecting Americans.
It's a scary
You-
show today.
Yeah, it is. Oh, no good news today. No good news today. If you're looking for good news, this is not.
We're
the
looking
show
to
for
ruin
you.
your day.
Yeah. So, Thomas Eric Duncan.
Well, Thomas Eric Duncan, as a lot of people know, died yesterday, October 8th, 2014. What I'm going to be discussing today is why did he die and 4 other Americans who were hospitalized in the U.S. survived? Well,
Wait,
first of all,
there's 4. Oh yeah.
there was 4 that are hospitalized. U.S. citizens that were hospitalized in America.
They
They
have the
survived.
So
Ebola?
yeah. With
Thomas Eric Duncan was the first
Well, no.
diagnosed.
He means the 4 other people. There are only 4 other people hospitalized in the entire United States.
They have Ebola.
No, that are just in a hospital.
Yeah. No.
No, he's being sarcastic.
So
I'm just joking.
I was like, wait, what?
So Thomas Eric Duncan, September 25th, went to a Texas hospital. He was vomiting, fever, abdominal pain, all symptoms of Ebola. Was just sent home with antibiotics. He wasn't screened for the virus. September 25th.
He should have. I mean, that's step
Well,
one.
there is a reason
This
for
is
that. I mean,
and this is 5 days after he comes back from Liberia.
Yeah, you have to smarten up, Gum.
So yeah, so he wasn't even screened for the virus. So 3 days later, 8 days after he comes back from Liberia, he was hospitalized again in the same Texas hospital, in worse condition. Next thing you know, he's diagnosed with Ebola, quickly isolated, whole 9 yards. Now, this is what I think America. First of all, I think the U.S. just in general, our medical system really messed up when we first didn't screen him for Ebola, considering he had all the symptoms.
I
But
don't know
now,
how he got in.
but now, 6 days later, October 4th,
He died.
is the first time he received experimental drugs that all the 4 other Americans received. And mind you, all the 4 other Americans survived. And they got it immediately.
Yeah.
Thomas Eric Duncan got 6 days later after he was diagnosed with Ebola.
But maybe again, we really don't know how long he had
Wait,
it.
let me finish,
because he was in Liberia. Okay.
Let me finish. So the other 4 patients in the U.S. received the drug immediately. Now, mind you, the 4 other Americans were American. Thomas Eric Duncan is Liberian. So now the family's coming out saying this is a whole bias thing.
You know, it might be, but
And-
to think about it, you know how expensive it must be to develop the drug. Of course, they're going to look and have a priority for Americans first and Liberians second. Is that right?
And
Not
the
really, but
The
I don't even
hospital-
think
the
that's what it
hospital
is.
replied that they had to they had to ask for permission from the FDA. I mean, from the, I don't know, from somebody for permission to actually use the experimental drug, considering it's an experimental drug.
yeah.
And then when they asked for permission, they didn't answer. So it's kind of,
So they did it without permission.
yeah.
Okay. But the problem is, I look at it like stages. Like, all right, with cancer, there's stage 1, you have hope. Let's say stage 3, we.
But you
pretty
can't
much-
really look at that.
But that-
I mean,
but he had
Ebola is
it-
a different beast.
But again, he had it for a longer time. That's my point. So I'm saying maybe it already took its toll, and they saw that. They were like, "Why give him the medicine when there's really nothing more we can
I
do?"
mean,
However-
but with them, it just happened. It's fresh. Like with them, it's still treatable. That's what I think happened in that
However, if he was actually screened, which he should have September 25th.
case. On the way back from Palestine, when I was coming back, they did severe screening to make sure no one on that flight had Ebola.
Exactly.
Was it, no,
and
Ebola?
mind you,
Yeah, that because there was an
We're-
outbreak back.
Thomas Eric Duncan was on U.S. soil. We're supposed to be one of the smartest countries out there. He had all symptoms of Ebola, and he did not get screened at all. He was
I
pretty
don't
much
know how-
hospitalized, sent home with antibiotics.
honestly
He'll
don't know
get
how he
better in
got
a few
back.
days.
I don't know how we got. that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a mistake in terms of on our part, and I think that there was probably some bias in terms of that we didn't give him the drug.
Possible.
Moving on. I asked the question at the top of the show: is this sustainable? Referring to all of this in terms of the way we live, because the Wall Street Journal and the World Wildlife Foundation have just come out with a study that 52% of wildlife in the world has been killed since 1970. From 1970 to 2010, 52% of wildlife has been eliminated. 36% in temperate, 56% in tropical, 39% in the land, 39% ocean, 76% in freshwater, 10% in high-income countries, 18% middle-income countries, 58% in low-income countries.
The freshwater one is just devastating because we
80
already.
Hold on. That's not even the most devastating number. 83% of wildlife in Latin America since 1970 is gone. And every single year, again, I bring up the question, is this sustainable? Every single year, humans use 1.5 planets worth of natural resources.
That's
Wow.
terrible. That's
And
scary.
it's insane. I
Like-
mean, when are we going to wake up and realize that this is not sustainable? And I find it completely ironic that we talk about 2 topics today that everybody's hailing as things that could end life as we know it.
This
And I
is-
find that ironic only because we are going to wind up being the things that end life as we know it. We cannot sustain this.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't.
This-
We're using 1.5 planet's worth of natural resources. We just can't sustain it. It's impossible. 52% of wildlife is gone. If you grew up in 1970, which my dad did, my dad was born in 1958, so he was 12 by 1970. From when he was 12 to when he was 40 years later, I'm bad at math. 40 years later, 52 years old. From when he was 12 to when he was 52, 52%, ironically, have been gone. 52% of wildlife have been gone from that. I mean, that is insane.
No, I'm not your everyday tree hugger from nowadays. But again, like I look at this and I'm just like, damn, what have we been doing?
I mean, you don't have to be a tree hugger to care about.
Yeah, I know.
Just
But
you know what
in this case, I'm actually like, oh my god.
Sam,
It's
you know
insane.
what would have been an interesting statistic for you to bring up? The raise in population since 19. Because I think that's a big issue.
Oh yeah, the population did jump all around the world.
It's
now-
always jumping.
Yeah.
We're always going
No,
up. in
right now, I'm
population.
sure the population from the 70s to now in the U.S. is almost doubled.
And it's considering. Think about it. The
And
amount of people we
China
have
also-
in this entire world. It's the
But
more
still,
people
that's
we
no
have,
excuse.
the more resources we need. And I'm not saying it's an
Yeah,
excuse.
I know,
I'm saying
but-
it's an issue. I don't understand
gotta
how
do
are we
something.
going to maintain.
We have a caller.
Okay.
You're
Hello,
on-
you are on WHIT Radio.
Hi, I have a question for Mo.
All right.
Hey, Alanis.
What's your definition of a tree hugger?
What?
What do you mean by that? A tree hugger?
A tree hugger? Like one of those people that's like, yo, we can't chop down these trees for paper. We can't drive around. We got to use bikes. We got to blah, blah, blah. Like, people who are really for the environment.
So nature isn't as important to you.
It is, especially right
Okay.
now with the way things are going. But again, like,
But you
Mohammed-
clearly just said that you're not.
I'm not a tree hugger.
Muhammad's
as in-
not going to sit down and cry because he sees a tree was struck by
that's
lightning.
that's my point. Like, I'm not really, but now this is pretty concerning news.
Muhammad is what we
Well,
like
I'm
to
glad
call
you
a
changed your point of
conservative
view.
liberal.
Yeah.
Great day. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. Mr. P just interrupting your show for a second.
Powerful Puccino here to join us.
I want to go back to your previous discussion about Ebola. They just took a poll, and they believe that like 60% of the American population believes that we should not allow flights from the infected countries like Liberia.
There goes a lot of money that we make, though.
Yeah,
Not a
but
lot
Do
of
you
money.
think there should be a restriction or suspension of all flights from those countries?
Absolutely.
For now, yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Until we contain it. And
Because obviously
and
the
the US
screening, the
That means
screening that we were
Spain.
doing, exactly, Spain too.
until the U.S. proves to me that I can trust that we're going to screen at every possible
this thing-
sign of
this-
Ebola.
This guy came from an infected area. We screened and we missed him somehow. And
No, not even. No, what really bugs me, he came from an infected area, had signs of Ebola, and he wasn't screened. He wasn't screened.
And
It was
this is-
until
this
3
is why
days
I'm
later when
worried.
he was in
I think-
even worse conditions,
Yeah.
like a verge of dying conditions. That's when he was screened for Ebola.
Again, and I think it would be best for all of us if we just stopped flights for now. Like
I think we should.
we would be hit financially. We would take a hit, obviously.
Yeah, we would.
But
Nah, we wouldn't.
we would, man. I'm telling you, like
Not a
flights-
huge hit, but
Nah,
it will.
You'll
nothing
feel a
will
little
feel.
bit, but safety,
wouldn't
the
be a-
safety,
Safety,
is going to
yeah.
be
It would
involved.
not be a hit.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the air traffic from Liberia to America
It's
is
not just
that-
Liberia. No, he said all infected areas. So we're talking Spain, all those infected areas.
Okay, Spain.
Spain's huge. All right, all those African countries too,
You think people really
and in
travel
the Middle
there?
East. Well,
You're gonna take a vacation there.
We have another caller.
Let's take a vacation to Sierra Leone. Let's,
beautiful place.
We have another
Hello?
caller.
hello, you are on WHIT Radio.
Hello?
Hello.
This
Oh.
question's for Mo. It's 56 degrees outside, and why are you wearing a muscle tee?
Yo, you say 56, and I say 86.
But why are you wearing a muscle tee?
Because if
it's
it
for
gets
people
cold,
with muscle tone.
because if it gets cold, all I got.
All right. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
All right.
What we do? Oh yeah. So.
So the thing, as I was saying, well, what I wanted to say, maybe this sounds far fetched, but I've heard a lot. I mean, I read a lot of science magazines.
You do.
I do. I know. I actually do. I used to actually.
I
I
can
used
see
to work.
Richie when
I
he's
used to
at
work
work
at
and
a
stuff-
place
yeah.
where I used to work at night,
Yeah.
and I used to have. I told you the story.
Yeah.
Anyways, does this like bring up a possibility where or an option, maybe to, like to hurry up the advancement of going to other planets in our solar system?
Wait,
But
what?
life would be so hard. Now you see how you would.
No,
Like-
but is it really like? Does it really like? I don't
Hold
know.
on.
Does it really seem that far fetched? Like I said, like
Yes, it does.
Bro, the other
Because
planets have
I
no
don't think so.
atmosphere. We
I
can't-
don't think
we
so.
have not found another planet that we believe has water and can sustain life. One, two.
we
have-
found ice on Mars.
What?
We found ice
Okay,
on
but Mars has no
That's a good-
atmosphere.
Yes, but it's not in the Goldilocks zone, which means it can't sustain water. That's one. Two, we have never been able to fly somebody further than the moon.
Actually, Sam, they found a planet. It was last year that it's like the Goldilocks planet. It's like around the size of Earth, a little bit bigger, but all the conditions are fine.
It's in the
They may
Goldilocks
find
zone.
trace amounts of
Chaz,
water.
if you're
Water
talking
on
about the
it,
one
I
I'm
think.
talking about, it's practically identical to
Yeah.
planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yes. But
You guys have
then
some wild
again, my
imaginations.
second point, we haven't been able to fly anybody past the moon. And
Sam has a point there.
yeah, we flew somebody to the moon. Sure.
Oh, you're doing that. He's doing that.
Of course we flew somebody to the moon.
That's another topic for another day.
topic
That's
for
a different-
another day. All I'm saying is,
I didn't think that was gonna
let's
happen.
not limit ourselves, because I think if we really put more effort and just more minds.
Why?
to this,
Hold on. Why we're putting more effort into that? Why don't we just put
Fix
more effort
what we
into
have
this?
in front of us. Yeah, we have to fix
Why don't
the
we
way
just?
things are.
Because it's not too big a. All we have to do is convince China, because they are having rigorous debates there. Convince China to switch to solar power and clean energy, which we could do. They're having rigorous debates. It's more like 50-50 over there than people believe. I think people oftentimes believe that China, it's everybody just wants to keep the industrial age and they want to have their fun. They want to become a developing nation. I mean, they want to continue developing in their industrial age. But in China, they're having larger debates than what we're having right now. So just convince China to go to clean energy. Convince ourselves to go to clean energy. Convince ourselves that global warming, yes, it is indeed happening. And yes, 52% of wildlife is gone.
It's not something we can
Since
ignore anymore.
1970.
It's come to the point where we actually have to take
Yeah.
charge, fix things up.
Convince all...
maybe I'm just a sci-fi fan and I want to go to.
Yeah.
Richie, you have a
you
wild
are.
imagination. You know what? Maybe our grandchildren will get to see that day, but
I think more great grandchildren will
Okay.
get to see that day, maybe.
okay.
I mean, we
Hopefully.
have... that march was really something. That march not too long ago on Central Park, I think.
I'm just
What
saying,
was it for?
35 years
for global
ago.
warming.
I'm just saying,
Ah.
35 years ago, 80% of the technology we have today was incomprehensible.
You know what?
Yeah.
And 40 years ago, there was 52% more wildlife.
Separate topics, Sam.
And yeah, I think we all learned that we have to watch what we say on the show because we can offend some of our loyal fans.
Who did you offend?
Who did you offend?
All right, they will remain nameless, but
No, who did
You will
No,
never
who-
offend me,
who
so
did you
don't
offend?
worry.
How
Who
did
did
you
you
offend
offend?
somebody?
no. You know the tree hugger.
Apologize.
No, it's not time for that.
All right.
We'll do another show for that.
We'll have another apology show. I mean, we need to just keep having them for every single thing Mo says. All right, thank you for watching. This has been Wake Up High Tech, WHIT Radio. I'm Sam the Man, Muhammad the Magnet, Ratchet, Richie, Crazy Carlos, and Amazing Aaron behind the glass. We hope to see you again soon.
Amazing? Amazing.
This show has been sponsored by Powerade, by Vitamin Water. Sorry.
Thanks for watching What? Wake Up High Tech. Tune in to WHIT Radio's YouTube page for more shows. And as always, have a great day.